Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio. Ours is a place where dreams take flight, voices are heard, and stories are shared. This is where cultures meet, connections are formed, and ideas are transformed into action. This is your destination for authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives, and meaningful conversations. We're where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover our world of education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our USA Global TV channel and download our USA Global TV app. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. With heartfelt thanks to our executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, music scored by Yifei Tang from Cloud Road Music, creative direction by Paul Garcia, and I'm Al Cini, and I'm very proud to be part of the USA Global TV and Radio family. So join us here at USA Global TV and Radio. Make us your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication, or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited. Thank you for being a part of our global community. Let's inspire together.
Hello and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. This is It's Your Healthy Lifestyle show, hosted by the founder of this platform, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and myself, Roland FRIEDL. How important is your health and fitness to you? We show you how you can easily eat healthier every day, how you can improve your fitness and recover much quicker after your exercises and workouts. Families will learn how to optimize their children's health and nutrition. And finally, you will also hear how you live a long, healthy, and fit life into your old age. Join us here on It's Your Healthy Lifestyle.
Hello and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where we are home to the YouTube Silver Creator Award for surpassing 100,000 subscribers on our one channel. We are truly a global network, streaming to you live from many different platforms across the world. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and our show today is It's Your Healthy Lifestyle. And our title is, wait for it, Motion is the lotion for your joint health. That's right. We want healthy joints, don't we? Joining me is my dear friend and colleague. His name is ROLAND FRIEDL, and he is joining us from his motorhome in Europe, where he's been traveling around for a number of years, and he is an expert in this area. So we're going to welcome him. He's a world-class coach, mentor. He's an advocate for men's work, and he's also an author, and he's a TV show host. He's completed probably 400 or 500 episodes here on USA Global TV and Radio. Welcome, ROLAND FRIEDL. How are you? Hello.
Hello, Dr. Jacalyn. Great to see you again. Hello to our audience. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Where are you joining?
Hello, hello. So I'm joining from Greece. Where are you joining from?
Hello, just close. I'm from Sicily, from south of Italy, the island of Sicily.
We're so close,
and
but yet
I'm
so far.
I'm a proud TV host on USA Global Radio.
I love how the outline of the logo is kind of glimmering, like it's shimmering in silver.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm missing one word. There should be, I'm a proud TV host on USA Global TV Radio.
No, it should be, I'm a top 10 TV show host.
Yeah,
for sure. Well, we had the pleasure of meeting in person this year. I believe it was in June. It was fantastic. And I really treasured the conversations that we have. And of course, you are a dear friend and mentor and colleague. You've provided me with so many insights over the years. So thank you for continuing to show up. And I'd like our audience to know that right after this, you're hosting your own show in German with Mike. Tell us about that.
Yeah, the so-called Mutmacher show. This means in English, yeah, that's the Mutmacher show. That's the sign. It means the encourager show. So the the intention of Mika and myself is to bring hope, like USA Global TV and Radio does in general, bringing hope and inspiration to people. Because we see here, especially in Europe and also in Germany, Austria, Switzerland, we see that a lot of people, a little bit have anxieties and fearful, doubtful, because a lot of stuff is going on, war, economic crisis, climate change, and stuff like that. So we want to inspire them and bring them hope and inspiration, and just by bringing some content, but we also have an amazing interview guests, and they're talking about their story, how they overcome their fear or self-doubt or whatever what they're doing. So that's the Mutmacher Show every Tuesday on 7:30 p.m. Central European Time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And by the way, you're going to be starting another new program. Would you like to give a little teaser about that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we start another one. I'm just working on the title and everything. So there will be also a German-speaking show for people who are successful in business, whatever they're doing, and they can be guests on our show and share their success story, how they found their way in their life and living their successful life, whatever they're doing in sports, in business, in arts, or whatever they're doing. So it will be an amazing show. I guess it will be really cool for all our viewers to learn from different aspects of life, how to overcome. It's also about how to overcome also fear and self-doubt and building up a successful life, whatever it is. And yeah, I'm very looking forward to it. We're going to start soon. A little bit, yeah. I'll tell more when we arrive, when the title is there and everything is ready to go. I think we take another 1 or 2 weeks and then we're going to start.
Fantastic. Very exciting. So let's get into our topic today. You know, when you mentioned this to me, I thought it was an interesting title. And we do know that as we are older and aging, our joints are extremely important, just like taking care of our body, lifting weights, what we're putting inside of our body. So what do we need to know about joint health?
Yeah, thank you. Well, first of all, the title, I didn't think about it in English, might lead to a little bit of misunderstanding. But joints are very important. And actually, around an hour ago before the show, I was walking my dog around here, and I met a guy. I met him already last year on a camping site. We had a nice conversation. He's also living in his van, actually in his motorhome. And he said, Roland, where are you going every weekend? You're always away for a few hours. And I said, yeah, I go and walk the whole coast. It's about 10 miles around. I walk my dog there, I pick up some ice cream, and then walk back. So I'm just walking. I said, yeah, he can't do it. Actually, he's more or less the same age like myself, and he has 2 operations, so 2 new knees he has. So he's problem with the joints, and I said, yeah, are you in pain still? No, everything is okay. But when I'm walking, yeah, I'm lazy. He's smoking, drinking alcohol. So a lot of people have joint problems, especially knee problems, but also other joints. And that's why I found the idea was bringing up a show and bring some points to consider. First of all, to minimize the risk of getting joint problems, meaning we're talking about prevention, but we also talk about when you already have problems, what you can do. But I have to state here, kind of disclaimer, I'm not a medical professional. I'm not a medical doctor. I just share my own experience. I'm 61, Austrian, taking no medication or pharmaceuticals, nothing. I'm totally fit and healthy. But so that's what I'm sharing, okay? That's just my personal stuff that I'm sharing, what I'm doing myself and together with my clients. So I'm not a medical doctor.
Thank you so much for sharing that. That's always good to have that disclaimer. We really like for people to take the information that we're sharing and see what resonates with you. And then, of course, we want you to feel confident and check with the professionals that you work with today. So, Roland, you did mention the fact that you're 61 and I'm 62. And sometimes we take for granted that our joints are in great shape. I remember many years ago, I was in corporate, I'm going to say maybe 10 years ago. And all of a sudden, I've been teaching spinning, but my fingers were killing me. My joints in my hand were killing me. And I felt like it was from maybe gripping the spinning, the bike too hard. And so I actually got rheumatoid arthritis out of nowhere. And I went to see some specialists, and they said that it could be a side effect of ulcerative colitis. Sometimes people get autoimmune like that. And so I
Mhm.
refused to give into it, and I ended up healing myself. I don't know how, but does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I know that particularly I always say we have different types of people. We have unhealthy and unfit people. We have fit people, but they are still unhealthy, and we have fit and healthy people. And it always can happen that we get joint problems. And I always start with a kind of joke. A guy's going to the doctor and said, my right knee is hurting. I'm blowing my joint. And the doctor said, yeah, I guess you're 67. It's age. And the guy said, doctor, I don't understand it because my left knee is the same age and doesn't hurt. So
That's a good one. I like that. Because sometimes people tell us things, even medical professionals, and it doesn't make any sense. It's kind of just like an excuse to get us out of the office, or they don't want to talk about it anymore. But that's a great point. You have two knees the same age.
yeah, but what it does is, it brings away self-responsibility. It's like, okay, you're old. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. Just take some medicine, and we're gonna do it. And if the medicine is not helping, we do an operation, or surgery, or something like that. But I think that's the wrong way. I mean, if there's no other way, of course you have to take pharmaceuticals, or you go for surgery, no doubt. But I think before we do this, we can try something different, and be a little bit patient. And try something different and give it a chance. I said for 30 days, for example. What I brought today is some points, and just try it out for 30 days, just for 30 days, and feel the difference. And if it's not working, you still can go for some pharmaceuticals, or you still can go for whatever. But yeah, so just give it a try. And what I'm talking about today is about a lifestyle change that is absolutely helpful and has a huge positive impact on your joints, on your knees, and everything else. But that's what I'm about it. I always say, just give it a chance.
Yeah, and I'd like to add a little disclaimer to that. So, everyone knows I have ulcerative colitis, and thank goodness, knock on wood, it is in remission. And so I've been on the same medication since 1991, the exact same medication and the same dosage. And when I've been really sick, the physicians want me to stay on it, but also go to a biologic. And I've said no for all these years. I've said, no, I'm not going to do it. I will find a way to get healthy. So what I would share with you is I'm not going to get rid of the base dosage that I've been on for all this years, because it must be doing some good, but I'm going to go kicking and screaming before I go on to something else. And right now, thank goodness, I'm in remission. So I feel like I mentally willed myself. Does that sound possible that you could will yourself to be in remission?
Yeah, absolutely. I have some very good friends on different topics, joint issues, diabetes, and stuff like that. And what I always say, when you're together with a medical professional and you take some medicine, stay with the medicine, but in parallel, just change your lifestyle for 30 days. And all of them come back and said, Roland, it's helping. What I could do is just reduce my medication. It's not about stopping your pharmaceutical. Please, no, not at all. It's not that. But on parallel, change it with your will, with your positive mindset, changing your diet, change your workout, have a look at your sleeping routine, work on your stress management, different points we want to discuss later on, and parallel. Take your pharmaceuticals, of course, but I see it very, very often that people can at least reduce them, and some can really stop them. Yeah, that's the positive thing. But again, don't stop to take your medicine. If you have a subscription, go for it. But you can change a lot, really. That's my own experience. I'm 60, as I said, I'm 61. You can change a lot on your own health by changing your lifestyle. But it's not always easy, of course. Absolutely. But
so a question I have for you, because this might be, some of our viewers might be thinking this. If there are people out there now who are in extreme pain, when you're in a lot of pain, it's hard to imagine that you're not going to be in pain. But yet we have to actually dig deep and use these tools that we've learned so we can reprogram our minds. And there might be people out there judging me right now saying that sounds ridiculous, but I don't think it is ridiculous. I think even when we are in extreme pain, if you think about, if you think about Navy SEALs, if you think about people who are tortured, if you think about people who are in the military going through some extreme, or hostages, prisoners of war, somehow they manage to train their mind to overcome all of these things. And so I'm just wondering, what are your thoughts for people out there right now who really are in pain and they're thinking, I don't know, like I don't know how to think in a positive way and to eliminate a lot of these lifestyle stressors when I'm in so much pain?
That's a very good question. I was suffering pain too in the past. I had some accidents. Car hit me when I was running, was training for a marathon and stuff like that. I know about pain, and I can just share what I personally learned. And first of all, what you mentioned, I know some guys who are really tough guys, and they can overcome the pain, like myself. And my girlfriend sometimes says, when my previous girlfriend, I'm single now, said, "Hey, don't you feel pain?" I said, "What? Yeah, you're bleeding here, you're bleeding there." I said, "No, I just, because I don't focus on the pain." Yeah. And I know there are guys, especially in the US, like David Goggins, who is very famous in the US. He was a SEAL. I guess he did all four. He was a SEAL, a Marine, and many other education. A really tough guy, and he was running an ultra marathon with broken legs. There's another guy. By the way, he's a professional bow hunter, and I follow him on YouTube because I'm also a bow hunter too. And he's also an ultra runner. His name is his name. Haynes is his family name. I just forget his surname. Anyway, and he was running 265 miles. So it's 411 kilometers for those who are listening from Europe. A 265-mile race with a broken foot. So it's working. You can overcome this. What I learned from one of my teachers, Osho, also known formerly as Bhagwan, he was a spiritual teacher, is pain gives you a feedback that something is going on in your body. And I give an example. When I have pain in my right arm, for example, or let's say my right hand, most people say, I have a pain in my right hand, something is wrong, I see a medical doctor, I get a painkiller or something like that. What I learned is my body gives me a feedback, and most of the time, except you have an accident, something different, a car hits you or whatever, or you have a knife and I don't know, you're cutting something when you cook, or you hammer on your nail or something different. But when a pain appears, what I learned is I really breathe into the pain, and then the pain is wandering. How do you say wandering? Or is walking? It goes from my body and tells me exactly what the root cause is, and sometimes the pain is coming from a different area, maybe from the back or from a knee or whatever. It just showed up or signaled me because I didn't recognize that there is a pain or an issue, and it signaled me in my right hand, for example. So that's what I learned, that very often when I feel pain, it's kind of meditation. I breathe into my pain and ask my body, what do you want to tell me? And then I found out, oh, I have problems in my kidneys or my liver or whatever. But you can overcome pain. Yeah, the problem, the challenge is, it's all about control of attention. I call it control of attention. Where goes your focus? I give another example, Dr. Jacalyn, for the audience. I had an experience years ago. I had to share a room. We went skiing, and I had to share a room with someone, and I didn't know. And actually, I don't like sharing a room, but there was no other choice. So we shared a room for just night, and this person, I heard later, he was kicked out from every room because he was snoring like hell. He was snoring like hell. I've never heard somebody so loud snoring. And next morning, I went up, and all the guys asked me, how was it? I said, what do you mean? You're snoring. I said, yeah, I heard it, but I slept normally. I said, how can you do it? Because I was not focusing on snoring. Because when I focus on the snoring, I get pissed off, I get angry, and then my thoughts are turning around, and I get angry and angry. I get angry about the guy, and he's sleeping well, and I can't sleep because I'm angry about his snoring. Doesn't make sense. So what I can do, and what I learned is through years of meditation, is bring my focus somewhere else. And the same is with pain. It's working, absolutely. And a lot of professionals, a lot of top SEALs guys, for example, on top of ultra runners, know how to handle this and stay focused on whatever they're doing. And they feel the pain, of course, and I feel the pain too when I work out, still with the pain or stuff like that, but I can overcome it. I never shared very often my story, but I was a runner. I did a 100-kilometer run, so 60 miles run, 24-hour runs, long distance run. Sometimes I did a short distance run, I would call it a short distance run, like a marathon, which is a little bit more than 42 kilometers, a little bit more than 26 miles. It was a short distance for me. And then in 1999, a car hit me short before midnight. And on the street, a drunken driver hit me with a very fast driving. He didn't see me, and he just hit me when I was preparing for a race. And I was sick. I was many months in hospital, and yeah, it was a bad time. And then I was in rehab and coming back on the street, and I left the rehab institute. 2 weeks later, I ran a half marathon. I had a lot of pain, but I just wanted to see, can I do it or not? A half marathon, and then another 6 weeks later, I was running the marathon in Vienna. Bad time. It was not a good finishing time. And then it was in May, and then 4 months later, I was running the Berlin Marathon without any training because I had so much pain. So what I want to say, it's possible to do so. I wouldn't say it's healthy, but sometimes, when you just register for a race, like a marathon or ultra one, and with both, I went together with friends, and they asked me years ago, would you do the Berlin Marathon with me? And I said yes, and then the accident happened. I said, okay, I go for it. I registered it. I go for it. It's not healthy. It might sound weird for some people. Why are guys running a marathon when they're in pain, or running an ultra marathon, whatever? Yeah, it's not a discussion about it's healthy or it's crazy or not, but the only thing is you can do it. You can overcome it, because I strongly believe when you are really giving up and you say, no, I can't do it. It's not impossible. I cannot do it anymore. It's too much pain, or I don't know the power, or I'm not in a good shape. I strongly believe you're just on 40%. You're just on 40%. You can extend it and go longer and longer and longer. It's possible. It's possible. 100%. It's just a mindset.
Yeah, you know what? Thanks for sharing your story and that transparency. I really appreciate it, because I can imagine that was just a very difficult time in life. And I know for myself with the ulcerative colitis, I'll never forget, I was at a client meeting when I was in corporate. I was dressed to the nines, and all of a sudden the pain started on my left-hand side, and the pain is so bad, you kind of feel like you might pass out, like it's like a knife stabbing into you. And I thought, okay, I'm in this meeting. I worked really hard to get this meeting. What am I going to do? So what I did was I took some deep breaths through my nose. No one knew. It was kind of like, and I held on to the table really hard. And I took all the pain and I gave it to the table. And so no one even knew. I was sweating. The sweat was like dripping down my back because I was in so much pain, but no one knew. And for that time that I was there, probably an hour, I just said to myself, I'm not in any pain because I'm giving it to the table and I'm going to focus on where I am. And I did it. And so I'm not recommending that people should do this, but what I'm saying is when you're in a situation, I found through my own experience, and it sounds like you're saying that too, that you can focus on something other than the pain, and you can breathe through it and say, I am without pain right now. I have no pains. We see ourselves on the other side, and it takes a lot of work, but I found that it does work.
Yeah. And it's just here in the mindset. Be honest, it's just here in the mindset. Especially when I did ultra runs, it's just here in the mindset. Everybody can do it. It's the mindset. Because I remember many years ago. I was a teenager. One of my heroes was Muhammad Ali, this famous fighter. He was just a hero for me as a fighter, but also as a person. And the other one is I'm an Austrian. Arnold Schwarzenegger. You can think about what he is, but he
Arnold Press.
Amazing business. Yeah, amazing business. And they do have a discussion, and Arnold asked Ali, how many pull-ups? I was sit-ups and I guess it was pull-ups. How many pull-ups can you do? And Ali said, I have no idea. I start counting when it hurts. What it does say is he doesn't stop when it hurts. I said, I have no idea. I just start counting when it hurts. And this is what I learned in very early years. You can overcome this. Absolutely overcome this. 100%. I think that the human body can do much more as we believe. much more. And you know, there's other examples before we go into the topic. Is I know maybe you heard sometimes that I know there's an accident and like a small car, of course, and a kid is under the car, and the mom, a normal girl, is just pulling up the car to get the kid out. She never could do this. She never did a bodybuilding or workout. But in this stress situation, there was only one focus. Not the weight of the car. It was get the car away to save my kid. And that's the same thing. The focus is on saving a kid and not on the weight in the car. I can't do it. She doesn't even think about it. She just pulled up the car, and some people could pull out the kid. And it happened many times to us like this. It's possible. We can do much more.
Absolutely. You know, I want to share my screen because that's an amazing story that you told. And so I'm going to this website. It has a lot of pop-ups for some reason. But okay, Aussie police officer breaks long-standing record by doing over 700 pull-ups in an hour. Did you see this?
Yes.
By Vicki Newman, published on October the 8th. And her hands were like bleeding and callous. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, I don't think I could do one pull-up without being assisted, by the way. And she did over 700. So think about what kind of mental stability that actually takes. So congratulations to this police officer.
Absolutely. You know, that's why sometimes, you know, I watch videos on YouTube for guys who are not fake. You know, there's a lot of fake stuff out too. But I know some guys like Haynes or David Goggins, they're not fake, or other guys. And I said, because sometimes, you know, I want to get out of bed. It's raining outside. Should I really run or do my workout? I said, Roland, don't be a pussy. You can do it. Go out. It's so important to get some motivation sometimes from other guys who just go, or like this lady, you know, these police officers. There's so much thing they can do, but let's focus on getting rid of joint knee pain and health. And I think it's so important because so many people are really suffering from joint problems, from pain. It's a lot of people. I remember when I was on the Camino de Santiago, you know, Jacalyn, this Pilgrimweg where you walk hundreds of miles to go to Santiago de Compostela, to this church. It's a Pilgrimweg.
Red and his wife did it, our team members.
Okay. And I was there. He did some attempts. Yeah, I remember he did it too. And I did the whole Camino in 2011 without any preparation. And I just walking, and I was okay with my dog together, with my Ridgeback. And I had so many times that just especially young people, you know, especially young people, guys and girls who just graduated, ask me, hey, Roland, can you help me and go with me to pharmacy shop because you speak Spanish. I need some medication and some other stuff because I have so much pain in my knees. And these guys are in their 20s. I said, what's going on? You're in your 20s. You already have problems with your joints. And this haven't been people that are overweight or something like that. No obese people. Yeah, normal young teenagers. Yeah. Already have joint problems, and so it's so many people have it. And some people really believe it's because it's too much working out and stuff like that. Can be if you have a bad diet and other bad stuff going on. Yeah,
absolutely. I totally agree with you. I know today I walked 5 miles and I was on a trail. Part of it's like a walk and then it's a hike, and it's next to the Aegean Sea, and there's a lot of loose rocks. And so, you know, your foot, if you don't place it the right way. And so my ankle started bothering me, and I said, no, it's not bothering me. It is not bothering me. I feel terrific, because I still had to go 2.5 miles back. And the whole time I would feel, I'm like, nope, I do not acknowledge you. I do not acknowledge you. And I was fine. So I don't know, maybe I'm a little crazy. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's always where the focus goes, the energy goes, you know, that's all at the same point, you know, very focused. But especially when you're on hikes and, you know, especially you're in trees now, I'm in Sicily, it's very rocky here. I really stay focused when I'm walking around. Man, I know that nothing can really happen to me because I have good muscles. You know, we're going to talk about this also. When you have a good muscle structure when you work out, so your muscles is really helping you just to protect your joints, especially your knees and so on, or your ankles. Yeah, absolutely. But
yeah, it's very true. I think that's a good point. Also, I'd like to just comment on. I noticed here in Greece, I see very few people walking on this hike, this trail, looking at a phone, because one false step, one rock, and that could take you out if you're not paying attention. So in the States, it amazes me. People are just constantly walking, looking at phones, walking across major intersections, like glued to the phone. So please watch where you are walking, because if you don't want to have joint pain and you put yourself in a situation where you're being careless and reckless, you could be the reason for your pain, that you weren't paying attention and put yourself in harm's way.
Yeah, they have to say they have their own focus when we talk about focus.
Exactly. So I know you have a slide also that you want to share with our audience. So
Yeah,
for people who don't have joint pain, let's review some positive, some preventative things, and maybe for people who are suffering. Let's start with those who do not.
Yeah. Well, it's just a one page. I was writing down a few points, and it's for people who to prevent joint pain, but it's also for people who already have suffering for joint pain, but maybe they are for different reasons. As I said in the beginning, we can have healthy people and fit people, but we also have unhealthy people and unfit people. But I also see very fit people that are also unhealthy for different reasons. So the first thing is actually it's the last point I was talking about, but as the title was a little bit for misunderstanding, I put it first on, is get moving, because motion is the lotion. And by the way, I got this quote from somebody I listen very often, because he's really good. Was he talking about? It's Dr. It's from the US, Dr. Sean Baker. And he brought this up, motion is the lotion. So I took this title from him. First of all, I guess get moving, and it's moving. Our body is designed to move, not to sit. Actually, I wanted to search internet. I forgot it because I was really business before. I wanted to look when the first chairs got out. I guess a few hundred years. We don't have chairs for so many years. We always have been walking, or when we eat or do something, we have been squatting. So our body is designed to move and not to sit. And especially in our society, in Western society, except you have a farm or you're a blue-collar worker, but most of us are working in the service industry, you just sit a lot on your desk or in your car or whatever. So moving is very, very important. And as I said, especially our joints, they are really designed for moving. And so what I mean by this is that a regular, I would say, physical activity can help you absolutely, your knees and your other joints, in a number of ways, because it can relieving pain and stiffness. What is very important, a lot of people feel very stiff. Even people who are very fit, Jacalyn, we had a yoga retreat organizing in Mallorca for many years, and I became a yoga teacher in 1990, so 35 years ago. I know a lot of people who are very sporty, they're very good CrossFitters, good bodybuilders, tennis players, but they are very stiff. You see it in yoga in the pros. So a lot of people are very stiff. So it helps to get rid of your stiffness when you move. It strengthens what we mentioned before. It strengthens your muscles, and your muscle can provide support to your knees, for example, your other joints. So when you walk, you can also build up a little bit muscle. You can reduce, and that's very important for us who are a little bit overweight or maybe obese. It's reducing your weight gain. That's important because because weight gain puts an excess stress on your knees and all your joints. That's one thing. And it also, what we mentioned before, when you did your hike, Dr. Jacalyn, on this rocky coastline, moving also improves your balance, to decrease your risk of falling down, and also the decrease of injure your knees and other muscle. So moving is very, very important. Normally, I mentioned I put it last. Why? Because when you really have joint issues, you have pain for different reasons. One reason could be overweight, obese, but there are different other reasons, like inflammation or whatever. So I put it always last, because I always say change first. When you have a weight problem, what's number 2 here is, before you start working out or doing long runs or walk, whatever, and it's not possible because you're too heavy or you're suffering from pain. First of all, start to maintain or to get back to a healthy weight, because as I said before, overweight is every pound is too much, an additional stress for your knees and for getting pain. So it's all about getting back the real good healthy weight. That's very, very important. The question is how you can go back to a healthy weight. And by the way, unhealthy weight is not only for your joint and knees, it's also, your heart attack risks are increases and many other stuff. I'm not going to go too deep because we are focused on joints, but healthy weight is so important. Number 3, I said, I will put 3 things together, is protect knees from injury. Meaning really be careful, like you mentioned, Dr. Jacalyn, when you walk, don't look at your smartphone, because it can happen so fast that you fall down somebody, or that's very rocky and you get an imbalance and you injure your ankle or your knee or something like that. So really reduce your risk. But also, it's not only by walking or running, also when you're lifting heavy stuff. Some people just bend down your back and lift something, whatever they're trying to carry, and instead of going down in your knees and then going up. So really be careful, reduce the risk of injuries, and when you have injuries, treat them promptly. I mean, we had this discussion in the beginning that some people like myself are really weird. We do marathons even when we have a broken leg or something like that. But for normal guys, please treat injuries promptly as soon as possible, because otherwise it's getting worse and worse and worse, and then your inflammation shows up. And then what I mean by this is pay attention to pain. Yeah. So when there's pain, pay attention and not doing it worse. As I said, I did it sometimes, because I registered for a race and other people, and we said, okay, we go for it because we are well trained and we experienced. But for normal people, when you have pain, pay attention to it and check it out. That's one thing. Yeah. So we just had, protect your knees from injuries. When there is injury, treat it promptly as soon as possible, not to get worse. And then pay attention to pain, as I said, to normal people. Yeah, it's not everyone is an outdoor runner. Yeah.
I do have a comment. Excuse me. I noticed when I was in London and I was traveling on public transportation, like tubes, for example, or the trains, or even if you're in an elevator, you're in a high-rise building, I always stand with my knees slightly bent, because when the train stops fast or the elevator stops, if your knees are completely straight, your legs are straight, you can really cause harm to your joints, as opposed to having a bend in the knee and being quite loose and kind of free flowing with the train or the tube. And I see people like fall over, or they fall into the door or something. But when you actually take that kind of squat stance with your knees slightly bent, I have no data to support this, by the way, but in my experience, I feel like it's less trauma, less shock to your joints. What do you think?
Absolutely. It's a very good point, Dr. Jacalyn. So I know we train it in the military. Always when you go in a situation like you're on a fast train or whatever, always a little bit into your knees, and then you're really moving around. You're not stiff, you're avoiding stiffness, and you can balance much, much better. Absolutely. And it helps you to protect injuries. 100%. Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. Always. Actually, also when I do my workout, when I lift short bells or kettlebells, or even when I'm working on my upper body, I'm still a little bit bending my knees, not being very stiff, and 100%. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, something else I'd like to add as well for anybody out there who's working on their balance. What I do is, like, first of all, when I'm broadcasting, I'm always standing. So I'm standing right now, and I'm standing on one leg. And I'm standing on one leg, and it's not a problem. But for many people, standing on one leg is. So I would suggest that you stand next to a wall or stand next to a very sturdy piece of furniture. I remember once my mom was trying this. She was on a paddle board. I'm like, Mom, no, we don't try it on a paddle board because it's not an uneven surface. Like, oh, grab onto this boat, and the boat moved and she went flying. So no, you need a stable surface. But now I'm switching to the other leg, and you might find that one leg, your balance is better than the other. But if you practice it, you would be shocked at how well you'll be able to do in balancing, because balance is a very important thing as we get older.
Absolutely. And I see this, when I was doing these yoga classes, most just beginners, they really have problems to be in balance, where one leg is always better than the other. but you get better and better. And but also, I personally found out when I'm not in balance, when my mind is not in balance, I also have a problem to be balanced when I'm standing on one leg. That also happened to me. Yeah, 100%. Being in balance
is so true. I'm a certified yoga instructor, and I've been practicing probably as long as you. And I found for the standing exercises when I was doing the hot yoga, when I was out of balance mentally, it was very difficult to stand on one leg.
Yeah.
And I think if people, even if you're at home, and again, do it somewhere where you're safe, don't be crazy. Just give it a try and see how is your balance today, and then try it tomorrow and the next day, and you'll happen to see patterns of what's going on here, because you really have to focus on standing on one leg. And by the way, proper form, you're not gonna be all bent over standing on, obviously if you're going to be picking up your foot and doing the standing exercise, but you'll notice that there is some type of balance literally balance between the two.
Absolutely. Okay, so for another thing that helps you to stay healthy with your joints or get your health back in joints is, it maybe sound a little bit weird, but get enough sleep. 7 to 8 hours is minimum, 7 to 8 hours of sleep. So you need the time to recover, especially when you're starting working out and working again, when you're overweight and stuff like that. So good sleep is very important. I don't go to tip because I did a lot of, by the way, if you go on YouTube, on the playlist of HRL 5-Style, you will find a whole episode that Dr. Jacalyn and myself did together on good sleep. Another very important point is stress management. What do I mean by stress management? When you have a lot of stress, especially personal stress, emotional stress, this causes inflammation or your risk of inflammation. So stress management is very, very important to reduce inflammation in your body. I don't go too deep into another show on that. Then kick your habit. Sometimes you have to kick your habits. Especially, I was a smoker for sure. When you smoke, what it means when you smoke is you add. You have to. If you really want to, believe me, if you really want to improve your joint health, you have to. There's a reason to quit smoking. 100%. There's a lot of research done for over 2 decades, and they show up a connection between smoking and more severe pain and joint damages in both osteoarthritis and rheumatic also. And there's a study and there have been 924,000 participants in the study came out 3 years ago. So if you're really suffering from joint pain, I highly recommend stop smoking. It's one thing. Another thing is, and it's the most important thing, and a very huge important critical thing is eat a healthy diet. What do I mean by this? Avoid everything that can increase the risk of inflammation. So what should I eat? And I don't care if you're eating meat or a vegetarian. It doesn't matter at all. Eat a healthy diet. What I mean by this is avoid food that is producing inflammation. So when you're asking me what food should I avoid, I say 80% of you'll see in a supermarket. So all that has sugar, sugar is clear, ice cream, chocolate, cookies like that, normal sugar stuff. But there's a lot of sugar also in processed food. And the industry gets clever and clever. They have different names. Sometimes they even don't label the sugar. So if you avoid everything that is processed, or I would say every product that has more than 5 ingredients, avoid them. Just for 30 days. Just do it for 30 days, okay? Avoid for 30 days everything that brings inflammation to your body. So no product, that has more than 5 ingredients. I mean processed food. But it's only the sugars. It's all artificial flavors and all this stuff. And so eat healthy and clean as much as possible. Just for 30 days. Give it a chance for 40 days. And again, I don't mind if it's meat, really good meat. I'm a meat eater. I have no problems with inflammation. I'm a meat eater, but I only eat grass-fed beef from a farm I know personally. I don't buy meat at the supermarket. So whatever, you can be a meat eater, you can be a vegetarian. I don't care. Just eat non-processed food, okay? And avoid sugar just for 30 days. Give it a chance to your body just for 30 days, okay? Then I have another point here that means practice good posture. That's very, very important. A bad posture, like you're sitting or you're walking, be upright. I mentioned before that hundreds of years ago we had no seats, no chairs, nothing. We have been squatting. Squatting is very, very helpful for your joints. Some people say, yeah, when I squat, there's too much pressure on it. That's true, but it's helping you to strengthen your joints, and it's also good for your bone health. So bring a good sit in a good posture, use a good posture. Maybe you practice some yoga. But for example, when you're sitting, keep your back against the back of the chair, your feet flat on the floor. Some people have the crossed legs or sitting like this, and be in a good posture. Okay, practice a good posture. So we're coming to an end because the show, we're running out of time. So I really hurry up a little bit. And then another point is, especially for women too, is take care in selecting footwear. It can also have a huge impact on your joints and your knees. Also, take care about your foot. And by the way, there's a lot of stuff out there. Just go to the internet, Google, or go on YouTube or whatever. But also take care in selecting footwear. And I see so many people with joint, young people, because most people are not wearing shoes that give their foot and the ankles support. A lot of sneakers and sports stuff. It doesn't support your leg. I mean, when you're a well-trained person, meaning you have really muscles around, especially around your ankles, you're okay with that. But most people are not very sportive. They don't move much. They have really loose muscles, and they're not very good protected in the ankles. And then they have the shoes that really don't give them support. So really take care of selecting your footwear. It's one point. And last but not least, be also good to your bones. So your joints, what I mean by that is that your joints can't be healthy if the bones that join to form them aren't. So when the bone, the joints are connected with your bones. Yeah? If your bones are not in a good health, your joints aren't also not. So many of the habits to practice your joints, like regular exercise, what I mentioned, a healthy diet, are also very good for a good bone health. So bone health is also very critical, meaning get high in calcium. I wouldn't say calcium in an overdose, in a supplement. I would take calcium from food. That's the best, because you need it in combination with vitamins and other minerals, so your body can really have a good bioavailability. So it's really coming into your cells. I get a lot of vitamin D. I'm very often in the sun. By the way, there is also a very good, I think, episode around with Dr. Jacalyn and myself about sun bathing. And vitamin D, we have a good, also very good natural source, like in tuna, in salmon, in swordfish, in egg yolks, but also in fortified milk, in juices and cereals. So, and as I said, minimize your consumption of sugar, of carbonated soft drinks, and alcohol, of course, stuff like that. And then go for it and be patient. Yeah, be patient. And my suggestion is try it out for 30 days. Try it out for 30. Get rid of sugar, get rid of processed food, walk around, move around, go swimming, whatever. And as I said, when you're overweight, obese, start slowly. Don't be over-motivated. And yeah, take care. It's all about it. Just start.
Thank you so much, Roland. You gave so much good advice today. I really appreciate it. So to everyone out there, please do follow Roland. His information is on the screen right now. And he's got to rush over to the other studio where the next show is about to begin. So thank you for being here, Roland. We'll see you shortly.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye for now. Well, that concludes another episode here of It's Your Healthy Lifestyle. And what I'd like to ask from each and every one of you who are watching right now, would you consider going over to YouTube, wherever it is that you're watching? I'm going to put up a graphic right now. And would you consider joining our community by subscribing to our 2 YouTube channels? So USA Global TV and Radio, we have earned the YouTube Silver Creator Award for over 100,000 subscribers. We have 107,000 right now. And Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, we have over 37,000. We would love to have you in our family. You can get exclusive access to videos by joining our membership only. So thank you so much for listening. The next show is coming up, which, as I mentioned earlier, is in German. and it is the Mutmacher Show with Roland Friedel and Mike Justin. So stay tuned for that, and we're going to go over to one of our sponsors, and we'll be right back with their next program. Thank you.
Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? In a world quick to judge, one book dares to reveal the hidden cost of silence. Discover Holy but Harmful, The Silent Sin of Judgment, How Hidden Judgments Destroy Relationships and Damage Lives by Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. The Amazon #1 bestseller that's transforming the way we understand ourselves and the way we see others. Pick up the companion workbook to uncover your own hidden judgments and learn how to break free from them. Available now on Amazon and at fine bookstores worldwide.
Every woman carries a story of strength, of purpose, of light. Through her courage, the world is transformed. Through her grace, generations are inspired. This is Iconic Women. Within Every Woman Lives a Goddess, a celebration of brilliance, beauty, and empowerment. Join us every Wednesday at 11 a.m. New York, 4 p.m. London time, only here on USA, Global TVR, and radio. Featuring the iconic Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, honoring voices that shine across the world. Subscribe to our YouTube channels, USA Global TV and Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, to watch and engage with all our content. World-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honored to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USAGlobalTV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dyes. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.